What's up guys, and this is Will from the Game Lounge. Sonic the Hedgehog. Now 2022 has been a hell of a year for Sonic. He's had the #1 movie in the world, the highest grossing video game character based movie ever. He's got Sonic Origins on the way, and of course the new flagship game Sonic Frontiers coming later this year. So the only way seems to be up. After over 30 years, we're going to count down the top 25 Sonic the Hedgehog games. Now, as always, what's the criteria for this list? Well, Sonic has to be the main protagonist. Knuckles Chaotix's not getting in. Shadow the Hedgehog probably wouldn't get in anyway, but it's not getting in. And obviously this is my list. There may be games that I haven't played, there may be opinions that you disagree with. If you do, please leave a comment, and if you like the channel, then like and subscribe. Let's start off with number 25. So number 25 we have Sonic Rush Adventure. Now this was the second Rush game on the DS, and I prefer the first simply because the adventure elements in this one just broke the game up a bit too much for me. I much preferred the more stage-like structured handheld experience of the original Rush. That being said, the main levels in this game are just as good as the first game. Definitely worth a look. If you missed this one, it definitely sold significantly less than the first Sonic Rush. So certainly check this one out if you enjoyed the first game. It's really, really good. Number 24, we have Sonic Chronicles, The Dark Brotherhood. Now, this was an interesting crossover. It's an RPG. Personally, it's not really my sort of game. It was created by BioWare. If you love Sonic and love the lore, this one's excellent. And if you love this type of game, then that's the reason it gets a place in this list, because it's very, very well done. It's something different, and certainly, like I say, if you like the broader Sonic and you like the wider stories, then it's definitely worth checking out. Number 23, we have Sonic Advance 3. Now, I think there was just a little bit of Sonic Advance fatigue by the time this one came out. Obviously, Sonic was the first game to venture onto a new platform on the Game Boy Advance, post Sega going third party. And I think that the problem I've got with Sonic Advance 3 is it's just not different enough to the first two. And I think that really hurts it from that perspective. But still, if you like the formula, if you've played either of the first two games, you know exactly what you're getting here. So Sonic Advance 3 on the Game Boy Advance is certainly worth a look. Number 22 is Sonic Spinball. Now this is one back in the day I remember getting, and I remember playing this so much. I actually completed the game. It's not an easy game, and especially if you play this on original hardware, there's a lot of slowdown. Thankfully now, if you have various emulation options, you can actually speed up the Genesis processor, and it will actually run faster, eliminating that slowdown. So this is more enjoyable to play like that. It's still a lot of fun. It's certainly flawed, but as a pinball game, if you enjoy pinball games, Sonic Spinball is definitely worth a look. Next up we have Sonic the Hedgehog, but this is the Master System edition, and I personally think that this is fascinating. I think they did a great job. Sonic obviously came around in the 16-bit era, unlike Mario, who was originally around in the 8-bit era. And they effectively had to, the whole point of Sonic was the speed and the refresh rate and how quickly he moved, which just wasn't doable on a Master System. So effectively they had to almost demake this Sonic the Hedgehog. Now I actually think they did a great job. This is a really, really good game. It doesn't take very long. It's really interesting to see what they did on the Master System. So, you can complete this in well under an hour. It's not particularly difficult. And anybody that hasn't and is just interested should definitely check this out. Next up at number 20 is Sonic and Secret Rings on the Wii. Now, the controls are pretty imprecise, but I love the visual style of this one. I actually think even though the graphics and the Wii was not HD, the visual style and the graphics are phenomenal and they look great. If you get a chance, the footage here is actually on original hardware, but if you get a chance to run this through an emulator like Dolphin and upscale it, it really does look spectacular. The art direction here is very, very good. And the storyboard elements and what they decided to do, I think is really, really interesting. So, number 20, Sonic and the Secret Rings on the Nintendo Wii. Great game.
Sonic, you can get the pearl by defeating that spirit!
Number 19, we had Sonic Advance 2, and this was actually the first of the Sonic Advance games that I played, made by DVANCE, the sequel obviously to Sonic Advance. Again, suffers from the same issues as 3, where it was just a little bit too similar to the first one, but still at this point was fresh enough, and if you were looking for 2D action in Sonic, this was the only place that you were getting it back in 2002, I believe, when the game came out. So Sonic Advance 2 is at number 19. At number 18, you have the first mainline Sonic entry, host obviously, Sega going third party, and that's Sonic Heroes. And this one for me was a little bittersweet. The thing about Sonic Adventure I didn't like was the additional characters, E102, that really weren't that interesting to play. And I think Sonic Adventure 2 took a step in the right direction with eliminating that. But having the 3 protagonists, it just broke the game a little bit too much for me, having to switch between them the whole time. I would have preferred to still play as Sonic Knuckles, but actually to have more structure to it rather than flipping between the characters. That being said, it's a lot of fun, and actually when I've replayed the game recently, I see the beauty of it far more, and certainly if you haven't checked this out in a while, it's definitely worth a look. Number 17, and this one is very, very polarizing, Sonic 3D Blast. Now, I personally played this game. It was originally made for the Mega Drive, was moved over to the Saturn with various upgrades, new special stages, etc. And I actually really, really enjoy this. I think if you appreciate the game for what it is, it's an isometric 3D platformer. Sonic is somewhat slowed down, but I think it's very interesting and very different. And I think you should definitely try this one out if you forget Sonic games and just want an interesting experience. Which version's better? A lot of people prefer the Mega Drive version. There's actually a DX version that's been released by the original creator, which cleans up many of the original issues and adds Super Sonic into the mix, which is also worth a look. So Sonic 3D Blast, number 17. At number 16, we have Sonic Colors, which has actually recently been re-released and is certainly now very, very accessible if you want to take a look at this with a traditional controller. Originally, this came out on the Wii and was, I think, one of the better looking games on the Wii. It really, really does look good, runs really well. The only drawback, obviously, was because of the hardware and because it was on the Wii. I think some of the stages are rather short, especially when you compare them to Unleashed, which had some fantastic 3D stages. So Sonic Colors, I think the remake, definitely worth a look now on the latest Xbox Series and PS5 if you need to pick that up. Number 16. Number 15 is Sonic Lost World on the Wii U. You can also buy this one on the PC. I think this game was a little bittersweet. I think all of the previews looked phenomenal. As with so many Sonic games, it just didn't quite materialize in terms of the final game. A lot of people refer to it as Sonic Galaxy because of the trailers. It is different. Obviously, Sonic will not go full speed unless you press a button. I think it's very, very interesting. The game definitely has grown on me and I really enjoyed it, so I definitely recommend people giving this one a try. Like I say, best way to pick it up now is probably on the PC if you want to give it a go rather than the original Wii U. But the graphics are really interesting. I think they tried to do something new with the enemies in the game. So yeah, the Deadly Six. So yeah, Sonic Lost World is number 15. Number 14, we have Sonic Rush, the original first Sonic to feature on the Nintendo DS, and they did an amazing job. I think the way that they incorporated the two screens simply by increasing the play area and having you flip between the two worked really, really well. It was made by DVANCE, who had already were very familiar with Sonic and the Sonic Advance series, and I think Sonic Rush is definitely one of the pinnacles of the 2D games that you can get. It's fast paced, it doesn't stop, the levels are really, really varied. So yeah, if you haven't played this one somehow and you can find a DS knocking around, highly recommend that you give this a go. Number 13, and this is another one which some people love and some people hate. For me, Sonic R was incredible on the Saturn. The visuals were spectacular. I think they were some of the best 3D that you could get on the Saturn. You didn't have pop-up, you had a gradual fade-in of the graphics. It was great to see Sonic in a 3D engine at that stage. We hadn't really seen anything like a full game in 3D. And I think a lot of the fans wanted to see just something. So this definitely was an amazing game for me. Of course, that soundtrack is legendary. For me, I love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. I know the songs and think that they're really, really good. So, but for some, they dislike it. There is one drawback of this, in that it's actually a very, very short game. And I remember getting this at Christmas, and within a few hours I'd seen the entire game and unlocked everything, which was a disappointment. But if you've got a Saturn knocking around and can play the original version, it's really one of the best looking games on the system. Number 12, we have Sonic Unleashed, and I actually think the 3D levels within this game are the best 3D Sonic levels that you can play across all generations of games. It is absolutely spectacular. It runs so well. If you have an Xbox Series X or S, I really recommend checking out the downloadable versions of this, because it upgrades it so you can run it in full 4K, 60 frames per second, really, really smooth. It looks stunning to play now. The Werehog, where do I go with the Werehog? I didn't dislike the levels. It was obviously a massive change of pace, and due to that and the levels being significantly longer, unfortunately it dominated the game. Now recently when I've gone back to play it, I've just played the 3D levels, and if they'd have focused on them and padding that out a lot more, the standard Sonic levels, it would have been a much better game. Instead, it's at number 12. And number 11, just missing out on the top 10, was Sonic's first Nintendo handheld outing, which was Sonic Advance. I think DVANCE used the hardware really, really well. The Game Boy didn't have the best sound at the time, but it was technically a 32-bit system, and there's a lot more animation frames, and I love the art style and what they went with this game. It was great to see. It still holds up today. It's great to play if you're looking for 2D Sonic. Then yeah, give this one a try. Number 10, we have Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, and for me as a fan, this was amazing to see. It had so many different Sega franchises thrown in here, not just Sonic. You had Virtua Fighter, you know, Jackie driving the Outrun car, you had Shenmue in there, you just had so many amazing, great franchises incorporated. And the game controlled and played extremely well. Every bit as good as Mario Kart. I had the 360 version, which also had Banjo-Kazooie in it, which was really fun, really great to see. So yeah, highly recommend this one. The tracks were from so many different Sega IPs. It was just great fan service. Plays really well. Frustratingly, it's one of the few games that I own that is not backward compatible, so I had to actually get my original 360 out to play this one, which was pretty sad. But it still holds up, it still looks great. The PC version is probably the easiest, most accessible version to play nowadays. So yeah, highly recommend giving this one a go. Number 9, and we have Sonic CD on the Mega CD. It's been re-released obviously on multiple formats since. This was sort of a hybrid. It was something, you know, using the Sonic 1 engine, but just using that additional memory of the Mega CD, really to expand and grow the game, and that was fantastic. It was huge. It had a great concept in the future, in the past, which flipped it. And of course the CD audio meant that you got an absolutely fantastic soundtrack. I recommend the European soundtrack and Japanese soundtrack. I think that the US soundtrack, they went a different route. Both are great, it's worth experiencing both. But for me the European version has the edge, and nowadays obviously the Europeans used to get 50 Hz and it didn't run as smooth, but if you get the version on the Xbox, it's a full 60 frames per second and runs like butter. So highly recommend trying Sonic CD. Number 8 is the second of the Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2. And I guess this to me refined everything. It upgraded everything. It pushed the Dreamcast. It famously came out for Sonic's 10th anniversary, which seems so long ago now. But you know, it really did up the ante in terms of the levels and the design versus the original Sonic Adventure. I think for me, it just wasn't quite as impactful as the first Sonic Adventure. And I actually did miss the hub world and the adventure elements of the first game. You know, I really enjoyed Station Square and exploring the Mystic Ruins. That was all really exciting to me, but still, Sonic Adventure 2, fantastic game. You can pick it up on PSN or Xbox Live nowadays, or there was also a GameCube version, and I highly recommend giving this one a go at number 8. Number 7, and I think that this is definitely the best 3D Sonic game to be released post Sega going third party, and that's Sonic Generations. It had everything. It took levels from every single Sonic game. It mixed 2D and 3D elements. I don't think the 3D elements are as strong as, say, Sonic Unleashed, but it took out the werehog elements, added 2D elements, it remixed all of the music, and it was an incredible homage to Sonic. And it came on the back of, obviously, Sonic 06, which was terrible. Unleashed was a step in the right direction, and then Sonic Generations came. And it felt good, it played really well, it was really, really fun to play, and was just a real high point within the Sonic franchise after the low that was Sonic 06. Number 6, we have Sonic Racing Transformed, and after Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, Transformed just upped the ante. Very similar to, say, a Diddy Kong Racing, where you had multiple vehicles, and you had sea, you had sky, and you had road. But this actually, the tracks would change from lap to lap to incorporate those different vehicles, which was really, really interesting. I think it just took it to the next level from what they did. I think the graphics engine was updated and really, really looks good. Great to play today. Like I say, backward compatible through the Xbox if you want to pick this one up. So definitely worth giving Transformed a try. Also came out on the WIIU, PS3 as well. So loads of different avenues, and PC of course, loads of different avenues to play this. At number 5, we have Sonic Adventure. Now, this game, I remember walking into Toys R Us and seeing the first level, which you're seeing here now, playing a demo, and I was just blown away. Having had the Saturn and it, die far too early and missed Sega games, to suddenly see a Dreamcast putting out graphics that I just hadn't seen before was just phenomenal. And for it to be Sonic in 3D there, ready for the launch, having again missed a full game on the Saturn, this just was everything that I wanted to play. Now, is it great now? I still think it is. I still think some of the stages look really, really good. I think the Dreamcast's visual output still looks really crisp today. I definitely think the Dreamcast version has the edge over the PC versions and GameCube versions. There's a lot of very, very lengthy websites out there that explain the differences, but to me, this game just blew me out the water when I first saw it. So that's why Sonic Adventure is the highest ranked 3D Sonic at number 5. Number 4 is the one where it all started, and it's the one that actually started my gaming journey. Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive was the first ever game that I owned. Graphically, it looked phenomenal. It was better than anything I'd ever seen. It ran really, really smoothly. I loved the music, the sound design. I guess when you look back, the change in tempo with Labyrinth Zone and Scrap Brain Zone and the cheap deaths, people don't like it. For me, I actually appreciated the slightly slower initial pace of the first game and the slightly more platforming elements of the first game. I really, really enjoyed that. So Sonic the Hedgehog is at number 4. At number 3, and this is Sonic Mania. Now this came from nowhere. Obviously everybody's aware of Christian Whitehead and the work that he did on the Sonic the Hedgehog engine that Sega then used for some of the remakes on the iPhone, and there were various different creators, and Sega basically allowed them to create Sonic Mania, and what they did was create one of the finest Sonic games on modern hardware. So although it has a traditional look, obviously it can harness so much more than the original Mega Drive could ever do. It looks absolutely glorious. All of the sound has been remixed. It takes the best elements of every single Sonic game and combines them. It really is a joy, and so great to see this released on the Xbox One and PS4 and Switch. If you haven't tried this one, it's an absolute no-brainer that you have to go out and try this. It's such a good game. Sonic Mania, number 3. So we moved to the top 2, and this one was very, very close. I really did take some time to think about what I thought was the best game in the franchise. And at number 2, I've gone with Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Now, I think the two together, rather than having them both, I think this was meant to be one game, which is why I've just included it as one game. And I think the levels were huge. I think if you look at it as one unit, it just flows so well. It has a bit of everything. It's a fantastic platformer. Obviously this was the first game to introduce Knuckles, which was extremely exciting. He was a character, the original first 3 characters in Sonic all were perfect for the franchise and what it needed. So Sonic 3 and Knuckles just misses out on the top spot, but again, with the Sonic Origins collection coming up, this is a must play in anyone's library. So number 1, and we have Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I think this just took the first game, it redefined the graphics, it added fantastic special stages, it had so many more zones and so much variation in the zones and the gameplay. You can just, whether you go through Oil Ocean Zone, when you look at Metropolis Zone, when you look obviously at Chemical Plant Zone that you're seeing now, it just had so much to it, and it mixed the speed, it had fantastic platforming elements, it introduced Tails to the first time, obviously Supersonic, you got him for the first time if you got the 7 Emeralds. The special stages were fantastic to play. To me, this just was complete, and is just a game that no one should miss out on. I hope you enjoyed the list. Please like and subscribe. I plan to do a lot more content if people keep wanting it and keep enjoying it. So yeah, please like, subscribe to the video, and I'll see you soon.